What's good, CTers? Today we're tapping into one of the most slept-on movements of the 2000s, Disturbing the Peace. Led by Ludacris, DTP gave us radio hits, street heat, and one of the most dynamic crews in Southern hip-hop. From big personalities to breakout stars, they had a run that deserves way more credit than it gets. So in this episode, we're checking in on the artists who helped build the brand, who stayed active, who fell back, and who found a whole new lane outside the booth. Real quick though, if you were raised on this era of music like we were, make sure to check out our Raised Me merch line. We might not have a DTP drop yet, but we do have heat for Cash Money, Rockefeller, and G-Unit, just to name a few, all available on the site right now. Now that that's out the way, let's get to it. Lil Fate. Lil Fate was one of the most consistent voices across the early DTP albums and Ludacris projects. You might not have gotten a solo LP from him, but his presence was felt, especially on tracks like Growing Pains and P Poppin'. His laid-back delivery and slick one-liners gave balance to the more animated styles of Luda and I-20. After the height of DTP's run, Fate mostly faded from the spotlight. He didn't pursue a mainstream solo career, but he stayed close to the camp. You'll still see him pop up on Luda projects and in behind-the-scenes photos, keeping that family bond intact. He stayed active behind the scenes and occasionally drops verses or freestyles online. More of a legacy role player at this point, but still part of the foundation. He never chased the clout, and that's exactly why real fans still rock with him. Norfolk. Norfolk, short for North Florida Clique, was a duo made up of Brolic D and Small World, two artists who brought rugged energy and Florida grit to the DTP roster. While they never had a mainstream hit or solo albums under the label, their biggest spotlight came on the Ludacris Presents Disturbing the Peace compilation in 2005. Cuts like Put Your Hands Up and Family Affair gave them their only real national look, and they held their own alongside bigger names. Brolic D in particular has remained active on the indie grind. He dropped a few tracks over the years via SoundCloud, keeping that regional sound alive with joints like Hustlin' and Ride With Me. Small World, on the other hand, has kept a much lower profile. While he hasn't released much music publicly since the DTP days, his contributions to the crew's run still hold weight for those who followed beyond the hits. Norfolk didn't blow up like some of their label mates, but they're part of that deeper fabric. The street-level voices that made DTP feel like more than just radio records. Regional, raw, and real, their legacy sits in the liner notes of the movement. Willie North Pole. Willie North Pole was one of the few artists signed to DTP that didn't come from the South. Repping Phoenix, Arizona, he was supposed to be the breakout voice of the Southwest. He had the cosign, the bars, and a solid project in the Connect, but unfortunately it dropped during a shifting era in hip-hop and it never quite caught fire commercially. Willie's time at DTP was short-lived and he eventually left the label quietly, but he didn't stop grinding. Over the years he stayed active in the independent circuit, doing community work in Arizona and releasing music on his own terms. In 2023 he made headlines again for signing to Def Jam, making a full circle moment after years of setbacks. Willie's journey is a reminder of how timing and label politics can affect even the most talented. He had the skills and the look, just not the rollout. Still, he's respected in his city and proves that perseverance pays off, even if the shine didn't come overnight.
Yo, what's good, people? It's your man, CJ Williams.
I'm QB.
Yo, we just want to say thank you for tapping into the channel. If you're commenting, if you're liking it, you ain't even got to comment or like. If you're just tapping in and watching, we appreciate you.
You know what? Actually, share this video, and if you're not in the Patreon, make sure you tap into Patreon where you can get access to the Discord, chat it up with some like-minded people, and we got merch.
Yeah, merch. We got bonus content as well. So make sure you tap in, man. If you like the list, you like the countdowns, there's more where that came from. Hit the link in the description. Support the channel. We're trying to do big things, so we appreciate it.
We're on our way to big things, man. We'll see you in the next one.
Shauna brought a different kind of energy to DTP. Quick-witted, nasty on the mic, and able to hang with any rapper bar for bar. She made history as the first solo female rapper on Def Jam to go platinum, thanks to early heat like What's Your Fantasy and her own banger, Getting Some. She was originally supposed to co-star along Ludacris on Battle of the Sexes, which would have been a huge look for both, but label politics and creative differences reportedly caused her to exit before it dropped. The album still went on without her, but fans knew something was missing. After leaving DTP, she mostly kept it local, dropping a few indie projects and staying active in the Chicago scene. She's also made waves for being the daughter of blues legend Buddy Guy, and her family name got a nod again when her dad made a cameo in the 2025 Ryan Coogler film Sinners. These days, Shauna pops out for verses, freestyles, and the occasional live show. She's hinted at a comeback, and if she makes good on it, best believe the fans who remember her run will be ready. Real spitters don't go out of style. Sharifa came in with Point of No Return, a slept-on 2006 debut packed with soul, storytelling, and a classic Ludacris feature on Need a Boss. She had the voice, the look, and the sound that could have made her a star, but the rollout didn't get the push that it needed. Despite a strong start, she faded into industry limbo. After leaving the label, Sharifa remained low-key. She released a few loosies and collaborations, but never another full-length album. Rumors of label frustration and industry politics explain part of her absence, but the truth is, Sharifa always felt like one of those what could have been stories. Too much talent, not enough support. Today she keeps a lower profile, mostly quiet on social, but still appreciated by R&B heads who remember that debut. If she ever decided to return, there's definitely still room in the game for that voice. Field Mob brought rural Georgia to the rap game with unapologetic southern flavor and humor. Light Poles and Pine Trees gave us hits like So What with Sierra, and their chemistry as a duo, Smoke and Sean J, was undeniable. They stood out on a roster full of loud voices because they were authentically country and they wore it with pride. After DTP though, things got a little rocky. Internal tension and label delays slowed down the momentum. The duo eventually split, with both members pursuing solo work, some of which surfaced, most of which didn't break through. Still, they pop up for occasional reunions and throwback shows. Field Mob's catalog still hits for fans of 2000 Southern rap, and their influence on acts like Big Crit and Earth Gang is more obvious than people realize. They were DTP's wild cards, and when it worked, it really worked. I-20 was the baritone backbone of DTP. Serious, no nonsense, and grimy in the best way. His deep delivery helped anchor label hits like Move Bitch and Growing Pains. He wasn't after flash, he wanted presence, and when he spoke, you listened. His solo album Self-Explanatory dropped in 2004 and offered a raw, southern, autobiographical vibe. It never broke platinum, but it remains a cult favorite, an authentic snapshot of the era. After that, I-20 kept it moving. Independent releases, guest verses, and a behind-the-scenes grind with some ghostwriting on the low. He bounced back from personal struggles and started opening up in interviews on spirituality, street life, and music in a changing industry. But here's the twist. His son, Destroy Lonely, the Atlanta rapper and opium mentee whose experimental style and mysterious aura have him breaking out in the 2020s 60s hip-hop waves. Looks like the voice runs in the family. Today, I-20 may not dominate charts, but he's still respected. He still drops bars, supports his son's rise, and holds that DTP pedigree close. When the mic's on, people still listen, and that's proof that the legacy lives on. Bobby V might have had his biggest hits before officially linking with DTP, but once he joined the camp, he brought an R&B presence that the label didn't have. Tracks like Tell Me and Slow Down were certified bedroom staples, and he managed to ride that wave well into the late 2000s. After parting ways with DTP and Disturbing the Peace dissolving as a powerhouse, Bobby went indie, dropping albums like Fly on the Wall and Peach Moon. He stayed touring heavy, especially overseas and on nostalgic R&B lineups, never quite chasing trends, but he never fully disappeared either. In 2022, he showed up in the Versus ring as part of a chaotic R&B showdown, reminding folks he got hits and vocals. These days, he's still recording, still performing, and still doing his thing independently. Bobby V might not dominate headlines, but his name still rings off when it's time to set the mood. A low-key vet in the game.
You don't just listen to music, it shapes you. That vibe, that energy, that voice. Our Raised Me merch, it's all about honoring the albums that built the culture that built you. 8 legendary albums on every piece. A nod to the past, a flex for the future. Ready to rep your roots? Cop now at shop.culturalisttheory.com.
Player Circle came in under the DTP umbrella and made a massive first impression with the 2007 smash Duffel Bag Boy featuring Lil Wayne. The Atlanta duo, Titty Boy and Dollar Boy, had that street commercial balance that labels dream about. Supply and demand showed promise, but they never quite hit that level again. After their second album, Flight 360, the duo quietly parted ways. Dollar Boy rebranded as Dylan Sachs, occasionally dropping music independently, but never aimed for mainstream. He also dipped into entrepreneurship and remains low-key, mostly outside the industry spotlight. But Titty Boy, that's a different story. He reinvented himself as 2 Chainz, flipped his flow, and came back stronger than ever. Albums like Based on a True Story and Pretty Girls Like Trap Music turned him into a Grammy-winning, fashion-forward, hit-making fixture. He's now a full-blown brand, from TV appearances to restaurant chains and sports ownership. And if you want more on 2 Chainz, we've got his album rank video here on the channel. Check that out after this. Though Player Circle's run was short, their legacy lives on through 2 Chainz' glow up. That duffel bag opened up more than just rap doors. It birthed a solo career that's still going strong. Chingy. When Chingy dropped Jackpot in 2003, he came out swinging. Right There was everywhere, clubs, radio, 106 in Park, and the album went multi-platinum. With his St. Louis drawl and catchy hooks, he carved out a lane that felt like the perfect mix of Nelly's flash and Ludacris's charisma. But after his first 2 albums, things got messy. Chingy left DTP citing mismanagement, and though he later returned, the momentum had already dipped. Public spats, questionable label moves, and the infamous false rumor involving a transgender woman damaged his rep during a time when the industry was less forgiving. Still, Chingy never stopped. He continued touring, dropped independent projects, and even dabbled in acting and politics. Well, kinda. He caught backlash for agreeing to perform at a Donald Trump support concert during his most recent campaign. He would later back out before the performance due to the criticism. He also made headlines recently after reuniting with Luda and appearing on the Millennium Tour, showing there's still love for that early 2000s run. He might not be the hit machine he once was, but Chingy stayed in the game on his own terms. If you were outside in 03, you definitely remember when everything was right there. Ludacris. Ludacris is the face of DTP and one of the most successful artists, CEOs hip-hop's ever seen. From his explosive 2000 debut Back for the First Time, to platinum albums and iconic singles like Stand Up, Move, and Splash Waterfalls, he blended charisma, punchlines, and southern swagger to perfection. But Luda didn't stop at music. He flipped his rap stardom into Hollywood success, becoming a fan favorite in the Fast and Furious franchise. That pivot made him a household name with acting credits, voiceovers, and hosting gigs that keep his profile high even when he's not dropping music. He's also a businessman, founding Disturbing the Peace, opening restaurants, launching tech ventures, and pushing philanthropical work in Atlanta through the Ludacris Foundation. He still performs and occasionally hops on features, but he's more selective now, enjoying that rare space where he can pick and choose his moments. Musically, Ludacris hasn't dropped a full album since Ludaversal, but he's hinted at returning to the booth. Whether he does or not, his legacy is intact. Platinum plaques, unforgettable videos, and one of the best live shows in the game. Ludacris did what few managed, evolve without ever losing who he was. And if you rock with this DTP rundown, don't stop there. We got full episodes on Rockefeller, G-Unit, So Def, Terror Squad, Death Row, and Cash Money, all on the channel now. Whether you're into chart toppers or deep cuts, we're giving every label their flowers and setting the record straight on where those artists end up. So hit that like, subscribe, and drop a comment on who we should cover next. If you really want to tap in, hit the Patreon for exclusive reactions and bonus content you won't find anyplace else. It's your man CJ for CT, and I'm out.